telling you, in no world will a knight beat an archer. It's just not gonna happen. I've done lots of testing multiple times. The bow is able to punch through just about anything. The Brigandine, it can punch through the hardened steel. Not all the way, but it's gonna disrupt you dramatically. How far away were you when you did those tests? Oh. How far? I mean, usually like 20 yards, I guess? Exactly, 20 yards in, that's gonna be a problem. In fact, let's just ask some kids here. Would you rather be a knight or an archer?
Knight.
Oh, no, you betrayers. You betrayed me, both of you.
Knight.
A knight, exactly, see, unanimous decision. Everyone agrees. Precisely. How dare you? Fine, we'll retest this again, we'll stretch it back a little bit, and we'll see what I can do from a long range distance with the warbow against the armor you're wearing. If you can convince me you can do damage from a sizable distance, and I may concede that you may have a shot, but inside that 20-yard range, that's just not a feasible thing. There's no way that engagement's gonna happen. And at that point, you should already be running. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. For this video, we're gonna be stretching it back. I'm gonna be testing the lethality of the warbow at varying distances against the armor type, and I have one other special thing to show you. Much to the chagrin of Denethor, we have Boromir making his return. I took some time and patched him up. I want to do some more armor testing with the bow and arrow. So here he is in his glory. Denethor, I'm sorry, but I still hate you. Boromir, you deserve better, but you went out on top like a champ. So let's go ahead and shoot you with some more arrows. I do think we are missing one more thing for this video. Sir Gaines, yeah? I think I'm gonna need your armor for this video, bud. You need my armor for this video? Done. Wow, that was fast. Just couldn't wait to take your shirt off, could you? Well, you know, don't have to ask me twice. Well, all right, it's kind of a thing now. That's your shtick, so let's get going. Welcome back, brave adventurer. It is my pleasure to set you up with your loadout for this video. I am thinking for this one, we're gonna go with this one here. This is 130 at 32 inches, so it's a good bow, not obscenely high draw weight. All right, that sounds good. Sounds like a good middle of the road weight to use for the bow. I think that'll be perfect. For arrows, I am saying we are gonna go with bodkin tips. These are big bodkins. These are about 600 grains each, with the arrow that totals about 1,400 grains in all. Very cool, bud. It's a large arrow moving at a pretty decent velocity. This should definitely be the one you're looking for if you're gonna punch through armor. Oh man, yeah, that is, that is something right there. That is gonna do some work. Sir Gaines, I hope you're ready. All right, so we are gonna get started with the 130-pound bow, bodkin tips at 20 yards. We're gonna stretch it back as the video goes on and see what actually the lethal range is for a bow against the Brigandine armor. So 20 yards, let's start here. So first things first, this one right here actually missed the Brigandine by just a little bit. It went into the padded gambeson and then into the dummy quite a bit through this leather strap here. Oh, dang it. And through the Brigandine, through the padded gambeson, and into the dummy as well. So that one went in, so that was about that deep inside of there. The rest of them, the shots here through, so this one here broke. It actually hit through the plates. That's why it went all the way through so well, I feel. The other ones that were direct hits punched through here, buckled and bent this plate out right here, and right in the bottom there. So they all went through. All of them went into the dummy, poked into the padded gambeson, but once it hit the dummy, it pushed it out a little bit. Again, this is like a thick Kevlar grappling dummy, so it's gonna push things out. They don't go all the way through. So all of those I feel could be dangerous. All of those shots, while they may have not been immediately lethal, they're not going to drop you right away. Anything that's poking through everything into your body is going to be dangerous because there may be infection, there may be other things that'll come up. So from 20 yards, all of those shots will not stop you right away, but they could definitely do some serious damage. I don't know, man. I think it's time for a second opinion. Those are doing all right, but I don't think it's going through. And we have the butted male under here. Not as good as riveted, but I think the butted male is going to help. So if they have male underneath it, I think they're going to be just fine to you over the long course. So what we're going to do now is I'm stretch back to 50 yards and see how that goes. Here we are at 50 yards. It's going to be a little bit hard to see from the camera. So I'm going to do one from back here, one from the other angle, and probably one slow motion one to see what the difference is in the penetration of that armor. Again, rocking with some bodkins again, and we'll see the results. So the one that was in the chest here, it's kind of hard for me to see exactly where that was. If I remember correctly, that was center mass, so that's this spot here. So that punched in about similar to where we were with the 20 yards. It still bounced out after it hit the dummy, so it still went through the Brigandine, the padded gambeson, whatever, through the padded part and hit the dummy, but not substantially. The second one, which I was a little bummed about, this Brigandine's a little off, so that hit right here. I'm not gonna say I would tank those shots, but I would 100% tank those shots. But of course, what kind of archer would I be if I didn't do one headshot just to see what happens with this helmet? Actually pretty pleased with that headshot there. Pat myself on the back. That was this spot right here was where it hit. Now the really cool thing is this is 16 gauge mild steel, so nothing crazy, but the cool thing is there's two layers of it, right? So it went through here and it actually punched in through the second layer as well. So you can see it actually went through both layers of the helmet. It didn't go through into the head, but it actually punched through the double layer. So that was actually pretty cool. I think if I would have hit the faceplate, would have been a lot better, but regardless, that was still a good impact there, and I'm pretty happy with that one. All right, so from 50 yards, I don't think it was as conclusive. It went through both of them, but it was just kind of like a pinprick when it went in through the Brigandine into the padded gambeson. It didn't go in as deeply as it did at 20 yards. So we're gonna stretch it back a little bit further, closer to 75 yards. This is gonna be a long shot for me, so I'll take a few tries, I'm sure, but I'll get it there. All right, so that was a little surprising because that hit actually in like a joint where the plate separated. So it did break through the metal part, went into the padded gambeson and into the dummy. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, that was like a perfect shot because it kind of pushed those plates apart and was able to go through. So I can feel here where it basically broke it open a little bit and was able to push the rest of the way through. So that's definitely something to consider with Brigandine. Like those plates can get separated. It came in like at just the right angle to push through. So that was a pretty cool result, to be honest. So the other shot that hit, that was square on the breastplate, the one that bounced off. So just because it bounced off doesn't mean it's not going in and through. That's one thing about the dummy, is that it's gonna push it out because it's really cushioned. So it's not really a good analog. But that one was center mass right here. And I can feel that one pushed through a little bit, but it actually didn't make it all the way through. So I think that at 75, I'm starting to lose some of that power. You know, I really don't see what all the fuss is about. That's about that deep into the skin. I mean, I don't think that's gonna stop anyone, especially a knight like Sir Gaines. Well, it didn't break up the plates and hit center mass. That hit a plate dead on. And so that was right here. So even at 75 yards, it was still able to punch into the plate a little bit. Nothing crazy. Again, this is not hardened steel. This is Brigandine, which was common in the 13th, 14th, 15th century for men at arms. So it wasn't the upper echelon of armor, but from that distance, we're still having that ability. And at that point, it's starting to arc. So even if I stretch it back further, 100 yards, 150 yards, I feel like there's gonna be a very similar velocity coming towards it. And so I think that showing can still make it through the Brigandine and the padded gambeson. But again, it's just a matter of how well it's gonna do. And also the tips are getting dull. I gotta resharpen them. This has been quite a bit of impact for the shooting. So it's not like the perfect analogy for like a super sharpened vodka tip, but still good results. This is so fun. I love archery. Well, everybody, that's the video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thanks to my helpers, Mini Gains, and what are you, Sexy Ranger 002. So I hope you enjoyed. As far as definitive, I feel like 75 yards, pushing back even further from that distance, you're still gonna have a similar amount of penetration against that type of armor. Now, I've done a lot of testing on this channel with plate as well, and I did, wow, good job, buddy. Now, I've done a lot of testing on this channel with hardened steel, cold rolled steel, and those results have definitely shown that in the 20-yard range, you can punch into them, but not through. And I really feel like once you stretch it back further, it just doubles down on the fact that you're not gonna get through that. The biggest thing, as I've said before, really is going to be slowing down the horses. So if you're able to hit a horse from 200 plus yards and slow them down, the knight's gonna be coming in on foot. That gives you more chance to find the gaps in the plate and slow them down, or just wreak havoc on them. It decreases their ability to be useful in the battle. So that's where that strength comes in. But if we're going against male or Brigandine, I feel like even if you stretch it back to that 100, 150 yards, that's still gonna punch into it, especially as you saw, kind of pushing those gaps apart in the plate if it hits it at an angle. So that being said, this was super fun, straight archery, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, because all I did was shoot the bow, and that is a good day and good video.